What's up? Brandon Lilly here. Going to be talking to you today about how I put 90 pounds on my deadlift in about 16 months. That's 64 weeks. And what you got to understand is I'm a little bit different than a lot of people. I know a lot of people, when they set out with a goal or they set out with a PR in mind, they usually overshoot. And the way that I look at things is what can I do week to week, month to month, cycle to cycle, 10-week cycles at a time. And my goal is always a minimum of 5 pounds per cycle on every lift. That's 15-pound PR every 10 weeks for all three lifts. But in the deadlift specifically, that's a lift that so many guys really struggle with, and sometimes they'll hit long plateaus. I hit a plateau of 2 years and 4 months one time, just trying everything I could do to get a pound. So how do I go from a guy that was stuck for 2 years and 4 months on a lift to a guy that puts 90 pounds on his lift in 16 months? You may not think that sounds very impressive. You may think, I can put 90 pounds on my deadlift in 3 months. Well, if you can, I would argue that you're a beginner, and I would say that you really haven't peaked your strength very much. But for me, I was already pulling 725 pounds at that time, and this was raw. And, I was really struggling with where to go from there. So at that point, I was doing a typical split of speed pulls one day and then heavy pulls another day. And that was twice within the same week. I was usually doing speed pulls after squats. So what I was doing also is I was pulling a lot against bands, a lot against chains. And this was really, this wasn't benefiting my form, because when I would go back and I would pull with a straight bar, I was experiencing a lot of bar drift. And what I found is that the bands especially acted like a Smith machine. You have the 2 points here and here, and whenever you pull up, it creates a triangle, and the bands were moving straight up and down like this. And it was creating a Smith machine effect, so it was preventing the bar from drifting when I was pulling against the bands. And when I would go to pull free, it was causing a pendulum effect. It was swinging away from my legs. So I never could replicate the form after the effect of training with the bands. So what I did was I dropped the bands back, and that's when I began the cube rotation. 1 week is a heavy pull or dedicated to heavier reps, 2 to 3 range. The next week is rep sets, 3 to 4 sets of anywhere from 5 to 8 reps. And then the next week is speed work. And the way that I do my speed work, I have 2 ways of doing it. Both of them build extreme fatigue. I was just actually talking to a friend of mine literally seconds ago. I've got him doing 3 sets of 8 speed singles. So he's doing a total of 24 singles, but every single time through the 8 reps, he's doing them as fast as possible. Just pick up, down, pick up, down, pick up, down. And by the 3rd set and the 8th rep, you're pretty fatigued. So you're actually learning to pull fast the whole time, but you're learning to pull fast when you're fatigued. The way that I like to do it is use a little bit heavier weight and go, like 12 singles or 10 singles, another 20 to 30 seconds, something like that. Or if I partner up, you've seen maybe Mark Miller and I or Corey Hayes in the past doing the tandem deadlifts where he pulls a set, I pull a rep. He pulls a rep, I pull a rep. He pulls a rep, I pull a rep. And what that also does is it causes imperfections in your pulls. You might grab the bar a little bit wide with one hand. You might move your foot a little bit. You might be away from the bar just a little bit. But in a meet, those things happen. So not only are you getting your speed work, but you're also learning to pull through mistakes. And that's been a huge help for me. The other thing was, before I was so PR oriented, I was set on, I have to PR this week. I have to hit a PR this week. I have to hit a PR this week. That I was testing my strength. I was always pulling heavy. I was always pulling heavier than I should have. And what people don't realize, when you're pulling heavy or you're doing anything heavy for very long, you're not actually building the muscles to do that. You build muscles in the 6 to 12 rep range. So you have to come back down and you have to do rep work that's actually going to build the muscles that you're working. That was where the rep day came in so nice for me, because I'd never done reps on my deadlift, ever. A set of 3 was considered repetition work for me. And by adding days in where I was doing 5s, 6s, 8s, things like that, I started to notice that my back really started to gain some mass. My hamstrings got bigger, my glutes got bigger. This all contributed to me being able to pull more explosively. The other thing that was really different for me, I guess, was on my heavy day, I started adding in a 1-inch deficit, just a very small deficit. I noticed at 2 inches or 3 inches, the deficit was too extreme that it changed my form completely. But at 1 inch, it did another thing. Besides allowing me to pull 1 inch further, which helped build my time under tension, which helped build my explosion off the floor, it actually taught me to sink my hips a little bit better and get under the bar. So when you look at the total of what I just said, I pulled 90-pound PRs methodically. Month to month, I was hitting PRs every single month. But I was I was methodical about it. I said I have a plan, and every 10 weeks I want to pull at least a 5-pound PR minimum. 64 weeks, that's 16 times 4. 64 weeks, 90 pounds, that's 1.5 pounds of progress a week. Guys, this is not an easy game. This is not something that's going to come to you overnight. And these dreams and aspirations of the 30, 40, 50-pound PR cycles, they may happen from time to time. But when you achieve a certain level, when you get to a certain point, or even if you're at a sticking point right now, lower the expectations a little bit and get the train moving forward. Because like I said, I was stuck for 2 years and a little bit over 2 years without hitting a PR on the deadlift because I was always training too heavy. I was always testing myself. I was never building. So on the cube rotation, it's build, build, test. Build for 2 weeks, test on the 3rd week. But I can test with triples, I can test with doubles, I can do things like that. It doesn't always have to be a 1 max or a 1 rep max PR. Building repetition work and building PRs through repetitions is going to allow you to not only hit PRs there, which keeps you going, keeps you confident, keeps you focused, it's going to make the heavier weights seem easier. It's like if I can pull 730 today for a double and then I make that a triple, well then definitely something like 800 pounds is going to feel easier in my hands than when I can only pull a double. It just makes sense. It's physics. It's mechanics. So understand that your goals should be small. They should be methodical. They should be planned out. Don't shoot for the home run all the time. Sometimes singles just get you on base, and that's all you need to get in the game. Stay in the game. Keep hitting small PRs. You'll be a lot better for it in the long run. Thanks. Check me out next time. Get either the Cube Method or the new book 365 Strong at www.jtsstrength.com/store. I appreciate everybody that's done that so far.